Hi, everybody. This is Chloe Hudson with World Peace Projects. Thank you so much for joining me. So today's topic on this platform is going to be Kambo. Now, I can't say the word, so this is the theme here, and I'm just going to call it grape. So Kambo is a excretion from an Amazonian tree frog that's been used in indigenous rituals for a very long time for the Amazonian people. It now, like ayahuasca and a lot of other medicine, it is been turned into more of a unfortunate fad. People like to endeavor this through ceremony with the hopes that they're going to have an experience that will purge them of their toxins and maybe assist them to tap into their own being and have self-awareness. Now, I know that this topic in the past and probably now is going to bring in passionate naysayers to what my perspective is. So I'll just let you know right now, I filter all comments. Anything nasty or disrespectful, what have you, won't even make it onto the platform, just so you know. Okay, so I've shared with you guys in the past my perspective on ayahuasca. I have never partook. I've seen both sides of this. There's plenty I haven't shared on it, which will be theme for another video. Though I've documented many interviews of a shaman, of people that have experienced it, and across the board, both sides, how wonderful it has assisted them in their life through healing, and the damage that I've seen it done to certain other people and the massive soul fracturing that has happened through it. So I approach this type of medicine with a lot of skepticism and concern. Because from my vantage point, when I go in to look at these types of things astrally, what, as always on the astral plane, is often a very different story than what we perceive or experiencing in the material realm. Now, in regard to Kambo, I have now communicated with 4 different people, which isn't a huge number, right? And they all happen to be women that have partaken in ceremony with Kambo. All 4 of them, immediately after their experience, started experiencing and being victim to astral grape. Okay, now I was really intrigued by this, and I immediately started researching. For anybody who's ever experienced astral grape, it can be a very difficult thing to stop, because it's not the same as a physical aggressor coming at you, where you have to physically fight them off or strategize to get away from them or not be able to. Astral grape is something that if you don't understand how to defend yourself in astral space with astral entities, there's not much that you can do. And the more you become scared, the more access they obtain. Now, I released this information on my psychic self-defense course in the past few weeks. And while doing the research around this, I came across a video and a specific image of the Amazonian tree frog and how they do this. So how they catch the frog and then they splay the limbs and then they scrape the medicine, which is the top layer. It's a mucoid discharge off of the skin of the frog over several days. When I was watching this video, I absorbed a tremendous amount of grief, of pain, of horror, of terror from the frog itself. It hurt my heart so deeply that I had to spend about 30 minutes to an hour clearing myself and offering, requesting forgiveness of the frog and, releasing this. And I registered in that experience that what was happening to the frog was grape. The frog was being graped. and it was terrified and it was horrified. And regardless of the, you know, belief around it, creating ceremony and making it sacred, the fact of the matter is that that frog didn't give permission. It's being taken, right? It's being stolen. It's violated. And that experience creates an extremely efficient transference and portal opening for a slew of entities, demons, what have you, to now access that human, in combination with the fact that when the human is partaking in the medicine, they're doing a burn. So they do a slight burning of the skin, which is how they introduce the medicine into the bloodstream of the human. That act of burning is an interdimensional portal passageway. So with the permissions and the agreements of the human participating and allowing it to move into their flesh and their person through multi-density levels, at that point gives access to, you know, free range of any entities that want to come through and you know, do what they do. The people that I talked to, they experienced this for weeks on end, some of them months. They didn't know why, they didn't know what was happening. And in addition to that experience, one of them has a very young infant that is a amazing high-level spirit that basically went into warfare to help protect the mother. And because of that, the infant became severely feverish for 24 hours after the mother partook in the medicine, unbeknownst to her that this was going to happen. But there was an experience of transference because the spirit of that infant, one of their reasons of being incarnation is to protect vehemently the mother and the family. So the spiritual warfare in this endeavor is prolific. And the unfortunate thing that happens with that medicine and these types of medicines is when you open into those astral realms through that avenue, through that pathway, through that gateway, it opens you to all sorts of connections and tethers and accesses while moving through a fracturing of your auric sphere. This obviously connects into the sexual body. And for any of those that know about tethering and cords into the web, the net of the sexual body, and how far out and vastly that splays, we've gone into plenty in my sex and relationships course that is wrapping up right now. You're basically permitting this to happen. And it's quite difficult to untangle it and unmire it. It takes very specific focus and work to do that. And you must know to do that to clear this. So I wanted to share that bit about it. One of my students sent me a flyer for, I guess, a company who offers a various different ceremonies with these different medicines. And I was shocked and abhorred to see that ketamine is now being used as medicine. So whenever we utilize any type of tool or medicine or element that is meant to assist us, to offer us access into a higher dimensionality, into an expansiveness, and a dropping of the boundaries of our consciousness, the way in which we will be accessing our expanded consciousness in those realms is through the permissions and the agreements that are wrapped around the medicine itself. And if one isn't clear on what those permissions are, those fine prints, right, then even while your access may be life-altering in a very positive way, which I have seen many times with ayahuasca, it does not negate the fact that you've moved into agreements and contracts from multiple different layers in ways in which that can be put on the back burner for when those entities or beings want to maybe pull your file and seek payment, that you now agreed into a very specific gateway or way in which you're accessing these realms, which also means, in addition, not only can they now access you when they want, depending on the agreements, or take in trade and barter for that access, which always happens in ayahuasca. And you won't know what you're bartering because most likely your consciousness isn't privy to that exchange happening, which has to happen before you're even given permission to open into that experience if you have any kind of out-of-body or expanded consciousness experience through the medicine itself. While in addition to that happening, the way in which you're accessing, the framework, the lens or observational perspective in how you're experiencing the outcomes of the medicine is also going to be handled or through the controllers or handlers, those that are giving you access, the elements that are giving you access, the consciousness of the plant itself, in addition to those that are utilizing that access point. You will experience it through that. That can also be geared and navigated. It does not necessarily mean, well, it could be, depending on your will and your spirit and the agreements, that you'll have a completely free will sovereign experience in this. Most likely it's going to be navigated through the lens, through the setup of the ceremonial endeavor itself. Another thing I'm going to add to this, when these types of experiences happen, no matter which medicine you're utilizing, your auric boundaries immediately drop. So anything and anyone within your scope, whether this be on the material plane, let's say you're participating with 10 other people, 100 other people, 2 other people, and within all of the other realms, there's immediate potential of bleed through. You've lost the ability to hold your boundaries in your energetic field, as they have also. So the transference is massive. So if anybody else or you in that space has parasitic entities in your field, you know, you've got cursed energetics, you've got the negative black goo, what have you, the propensity to get triggered through old traumas, those transferences can just be flying like heyday. So take care before you endeavor in certain ceremonies or medicines, seeking true, you know, pure desire to help self. Be aware that while it's much more difficult to access, you know, spirit through self with only self, there's a reason it's difficult. There's a reason it's a mastery, right? And certain things can be fun and recreational if you have no care for what it means to your well-being, albeit we have free will choice. Though understand that it is not wise to move into these endeavors with the naivete that simply because it is of the earth that it is safe. So I hope that this has served you. If you're interested in accessing Reading Frequency Signatures course or any of the classes, please follow the link below. Connect with me. Please give me a like, a thumbs up, share this video. I hope you're well. Talk to you guys soon. Bye-bye.